Hey, hey. And we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live edition of the Fearless Floyd Show. And as always, it's me, your host, Fearless Floyd. I don't expect anybody else to be here, but if somebody else shows up one day, that'll be a surprise for everybody, right? Okay, what I'm going to talk about, as you see behind me, how many times have you seen one of those badges? Probably never. Uh, I didn't even know there was a thing for home security investigations. The gang unit. I'm going to give you all a breakdown of my own experience because that's what I like to do. I like to share what I have lived, what I've personally experienced, especially when it comes to gangs. Having spent a considerable amount of my adult life behind bars in multiple decades, uh, and I try to tell you guys, I'm very unique because, I'm old as fuck. And I've tried to kill myself. I don't know how many freaking thousands of times. Why I'm here, I have no idea. So some kind of divine intervention, but I'm here, and I have a lot of stories to tell that I've lived. Part of it is dealing with gangs. Most of you don't know I was in prison in 1982 during the entire Ruiz versus Estelle case, prison overcrowding, and the I would say the fermentation of prison gangs in the Texas prison system, because there really weren't per se prison gangs in prison. It was mainly the strong shall survive. And then, of course, the blacks, they always stay together because all grew up together. The whites, they don't grow up together. They're not in these little pocket communities. And then, of course, there weren't that many Latinos, not as many as there are now due to illegal immigration and anchor babies. But in 82, there really weren't that many known affiliated gangs in Texas prison. Of course, I'm sure the Mexican Mafia was there. I'm sure the Ku Klux Klan was there. Probably the Latin Kings, definitely some Banditos and some Hells Angels and et cetera, et cetera. Well-established gangs that have been here for decades, way back into the 60s, 50s, and even into the 40s and 30s. Um, Having been in Texas prison, I actually went and read the book on Texas prisons when it was published back in the 80s while I was locked up. And I actually personally know multiple people who are in that book. So the ability for me to reference personal events, conversations, experiences um, are available. Why this is such a topic is because I know what's going on. All right. I know what gang members are capable of. I know what people who have absolutely nothing and nothing to lose, what they're capable of and what they will do. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've got tattoo work on my back that a guy did, and he got moved off the cell block, couldn't finish it. But the cell block he went to, yeah, he liked to make speakers. That was a kind of a thing in in the early 2000s, was to make homemade speakers. Somebody learned how to make one and taught somebody, and because you can't have speakers in Texas prisons, you can only have headphones. So everybody made these bootleg speakers. Well, somebody on his cell block, they didn't like being on the unit and they had nothing left to lose, weren't going to get out ever because they had some stacked life sentences. And old boy was playing his radio too loud. Somebody wanted to ticket off the unit, so they killed him. That was his ticket off the unit. Killed him for playing his radio too loud. Absolutely. I've seen people get killed over, at least stabbed over a stamp, a first class stamp, one stamp, a soup, a ramen soup. Absolutely. Um, I've been in the bowels with the worst of the worst, the throwaways, even those who, should never get out of prison, even though they are. They're back out on the streets. Um, what the country, the United States of America, is experiencing today, right now, with the influx of all these illegal immigrants. We've been dealing with it here in Houston, Texas for decades, but it's been a very slow assimilation within the geography and society. Of course, they come here either pregnant or they immediately get pregnant and start popping out anchor babies. And those babies have grown up. Now they've gone to school. If you watched my video that I did yesterday, I show you my high school that I went to. I showed you the band, the entire band. There's only one black face in that entire band picture, probably, yeah, at least 100 people, one black face. And I'm sure that one was probably bussed in. Now it's 60% Hispanic, 30% black, 10% other, which includes whites. Okay. That's the slow assimilation. You guys are getting it almost instantly. Okay. Within 2 years, boom, now your school, you're in New York, your kids aren't going to school. They're all at home because the schools are full of migrants. Wow. They did that like overnight, right? Okay. Let me explain to you what these people are seeing in these other countries. If I'm a gang member and I'm hustling in El Salvador, Honduras, Venezuela, Bolivia, Peru, any one of those countries, you know, those aren't very wealthy countries. Where's all the wealth? America. Fuck. If I go to New York, I can go just be the best criminal ever. No bail. So whatever I do, I can get away with and walk out scot free. Give them a bogus name. They'll fly me anywhere I want to go. I don't even have to show them an ID. How much sense does this make? Our United States Congress, look, it's beyond broken. It's corrupt. All of them, all of them, all of them. I'm just done. All of them are corrupt. Now they're going to wait another week to do something else. What the fuck is wrong with you people? That's not how we work. It's not like, oh man, Ted refused to do the deal. Well, we're just got to wait till next week to reach out to somebody else, see if we can get another deal. Really? Wouldn't you just like pick up the phone and make another deal? Start soliciting? This is a deliberate 100% incursion, an intrusion, an invasion of the worst from every country in the world coming here to take control, to commit criminal acts. That's why they're coming here. They're not coming here for the asylum, freedom, to get a job, to send money back to home. No, 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 no. Those people, they're already here. They've been here. They were the first ones to come here. Now, it's a deliberate targeting of individuals either told to come here, paid to come here, or are coming here to come up on everything, on the whole system, because the system's broken. You people have no clue what these people are capable of. They have nothing. They come from dirt floor stick shacks. Okay. Or they live in just squalor slums. You've seen pictures of them on the hillside. They're just all stacked. They got blue tarps and they got the corrugated metal roofs or even walls. That's where they're from. That's where they're from. They want to take everything you have, and they're going to take everything you have, and they're going to organize. If they weren't organized there, they're going to organize here. And you don't speak Spanish or you don't speak Somali, right? Yeah. And what happens when we start arresting these people and putting them in prison? They assimilate as gangs in prisons and they create another gang that the STG, the security threat group, has to deal with. That's what's happening. Okay. We're fixing to overwhelm our already overworked, understaffed, underpaid correctional officers. And I'm not saying they're the best of the best and the cream of the crop, because they're most of them are not. Some of them are there for a career, some of them there because they have to be, some of them there because they just want to fuck with people. Yeah. They think prisoners are the worst things in the world and they're going to go make them suffer. And I've encountered I don't know how many of those people. But since I was in TDCJ in 1982 through 1984, I was able to see the evolution of the prison gangs. I went back again in late 80s for a little short stint selling this undercover cop a quarter pound of cocaine. Yeah, that's what I did. Red-handed. Couldn't get out of that one. But when I got out, I eventually saw this movie called Blood In, Blood Out, Bound by Honor, Blood In, Blood Out. And I'm fixing to go over that. But prior to seeing that, the most realistic, I would say, jail, prison movie that I've seen that was most realistic was Bad Boys with Sean Penn. That was pretty spot on. And then when I saw this movie, I was like, oh, that's where the prison gangs came from. It all makes sense. And it does. Now, as I told you, okay, this has been assimilating here in Houston and in Texas. We've been absorbing these immigrants, these illegal immigrants from Central America, Mexico, for decades. Okay. I was locked up with them. They're from Honduras, El Salvador. Yeah. All of them. They belong here. When they got here in Harris County in Houston, they lived over off Glenmont, which was one of the three streets that had been closed down by the Houston Police Department for crime. I lived on that street. I lived on all three streets. The latest one is Bissonnette. It was closed down for prostitution just recently, but they didn't even close down Bissonnette. They closed down some side street. So the Johns couldn't make this little circle. It stopped that, stopped the flow. But yeah, the other three streets, yeah, Link Valley, which they call Death Valley, Glenmont, which the Gulfton Ghetto, and DeSoto, which is right down the street from where I live. Absolutely. I tell you folks, man, I come from the streets, come from the jungle. It's nothing new to me to be here. Or, I go to prison, it's same place I've always been. I'm never, above my head or anything like that. So I have a good affiliation with how gangs work, how they're created. I've lived with shot callers for my cellies. They call the shot for the whole unit, for that gang, for the primary gangs like the Bloods, the Crips, the AKs, ABs. If y'all don't know what that is, we'll get to them here in a minute. But when I saw that movie, Blood In, Blood Out, Bound by Honor, I was like, wow, man, that's a trip. Yeah, I see it now. All right. So as the assimilation came, when all these illegal immigrants from Central America got here, they all lived in that general area of the Gulfton Ghetto. Well, if you remember what happened in the early to mid 80s, what happened in the United States, especially in LA, we had a major crack epidemic, right? Well, we had a major crack epidemic here as well. However, you know, you got to bump it back some more for me because back in 79, when I was in high school, I was freebasing cocaine. Yeah. When it was $125 a gram. And, I, I was partying with one guy. and I didn't even know what we were doing. He was telling me, hey, we're freebasing. Okay. Never done this before. And we're just getting blasted. And the only reason I really knew what we were doing is because one day I'm watching the news and Richard Pryor caught himself on fire, freebasing cocaine. Oh, that's what we're doing. All right. Well, no big deal. So I'd already tried it. I already had that taste, that addiction. So when the crack epidemic hit, oh, well, guess what? Boom, it's everywhere. And it's definitely in the Gulfton ghetto. It was so prevalent in the Gulfton ghetto, folks, that you could literally pull in the driveway of the parking area, the covered parking area, and just stop, and your car would be swarmed by Central American Indians from Honduras, El Salvador, everywhere. And they all got a handful of crack, every one of them. And there might be 13, 14 arms sticking through your driver's window trying to sell you crack. Absolutely. Okay. But I don't want to tell y'all about all the little tricks and things I did, like, oh, God, bye, guys. That was real bad. I, 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 I taught them well. Let's put it that way. Okay. When I was done with them, they knew every scam in the book. Hey, wasn't nobody go scam them no more. Have I been shot at? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they shot at me many times. Chased me, shot me, stabbed me. Mhm. God, the Bible, just so y'all know, telling the truth. Uh, so we got that. Okay. So I know what the gangs look like. I know what they're capable of. And over in the Gulfing Ghetto, they were called the Southwest Cholos, SWC. You see them tagged everywhere because that's right. Yeah. A couple miles from the Richmond Strip. So everybody goes to Richmond Strip and we're partying our balls off. Okay, well, finish that little baggie. Let's go get some crack. It's 2:30 in the morning. Couldn't get no chick. So we're just going to get some crack and party. Hit the Gulfton Ghetto. And it's everywhere. I mean, everywhere. It was nuts. So that's what's coming up there to visit you guys up north and all these sanctuary cities. Yeah, that's coming. Except, it's fentanyl now. It's not crack cocaine. You smoke all, believe me, I don't know. I've never witnessed anybody ODing on crack cocaine. I've tried to OD on crack cocaine and it didn't work. Believe me, it sat my ass down and made my heart go about gazillion miles an hour. Where I was like, whoa, man. Jeez. Okay. Yeah. I've been there, done that. When I tell you guys things, I tell you the truth. These are from my own experiences. So when I'm talking about these gangs, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've lived with them. I've operated with them. I've made them change their way they act. Absolutely. And, when I was locked up this last time, I was running into all these cholos. I didn't tell them what I did because I guarantee if I told them my little tricks, they were like, "Oh, we remember you." I was pretty notorious. Uh, don't tell them when I would strike. But Yeah, they're very vicious and they will do whatever they want. Let me get over here and see what I got pulled up to share with you guys. Okay. Oh, hang on before I do that. I want to make sure that get the sound optimized for video clip. Here we go. Blood in, blood out, bound by honor. This was a 1993 film, and I didn't realize it was that late. Wow, 93. Man, I was three sheets into the wind by then. Um, give you the basis of it. It's a 1993 American epic crime drama film directed by Taylor Hackford that has become a classic cult classic film among the Mexican American community. It follows the intertwining lives of three Chicano relatives from 1972 to 1984. They start out as members of a street gang in East Los Angeles, and as dramatic incidents occur, their lives and friendships are forever changed. Blood In, Blood Out was filmed in 1991 throughout the Los Angeles and inside California's San Quentin prison. The plot. In 1972, after a violent confrontation with his abusive and racist father, Miklo Velka, a teenager of half Mexican descent, leaves Las Vegas for East Los Angeles. He moves in with his cousins, Paco and Cruz, who are both members of the Vatos Locos gang. Miklo joins the gang following an attack on their rivals, Tres Puntos. Tres Puntos retaliates by attacking Cruz, permanently damages his back. When Vatos Locos counterattack the next day, Miklo shoots and kills Spider, the leader of the Tres Puntos. Fleeing the scene, Paco crashes their car. Both he and Miklo are arrested. The cousins' paths diverge. Miklo is imprisoned in San Quentin for murder. Paco volunteers for military service in the Marine Corps in lieu of prison, and Cruz continues his passion for art. Due to his back pain, Cruz becomes addicted to heroin, leading to an accidental overdose of his 12-year-old brother, Juanito. After the Marines, Paco joins the Los Angeles Police Department. You kind of see where this is going. Meanwhile, Miklo finds that San Quentin is run by three racially defined prison gangs: the BGA Black Guerrilla Army, led by Bonafide; the Aryan Vanguard, led by Red Rider; and La Onada, or Onda, led by Montana Segura. Popeye, a high-ranking member of La Onda, tries to rape Miklo at knife point, but is stopped by Montana, who finds Popeye's intentions dishonorable. Miklo learns that the only way into La Onda is by killing an inmate from a rival gang. He forms a rapport with the Aryan Vanguard associate Big Al, then stabs him to death in the prison kitchen. Now initiated, Miklo rises through the La Onda ranks, eventually joining its ruling council. After serving 9 years, Miklo is granted parole. On the outside, disgusted by his menial job, he joins in on an armed robbery. The heist goes poorly, and Miklo is intercepted by Paco, who tries to persuade Miklo to surrender his weapon and resolve the situation peacefully. Miklo instead starts to flee. Paco shoots him in the leg, and the leg is amputated, and Miklo is sent back to prison. Miklo notices that cocaine use is now rampant, driven by competing supplies from BGA and La Onda council members Carlos. The Aryan Vanguard wants to partner with Carlos and his supplier, offering to help Carlos take the BGA out of the cocaine business. Montana, fiercely against La Onda being in the drug trade, warns that the Aryans want to start a war between the Black and Chicano inmates. The council votes in agreement with Montana, resulting in Carlos and a few others leaving La Onda to work for the Aryan Vanguard. Carlos and his non-inmate brother Smokey bomb the BGA stash house in the city. Carlos also kills Pockets, who is running the BGA operation in San Quentin. As Montana feared, Aryan Vanguard then lets BGA murder Carlos. Whoa. Okay, goes on and on. But I might as well finish it. Uh, as Montana feared, the Aryan Vanguard then lets BGA murder Carlos, with rising hostility between the Blacks and Chicanos. Montana and Bonafide meet in the prison yard. Montana convinces Bonafide to agree to a truce if Montana reaches out to La Onda leaders and other prisons to end the violence. The warden grants Montana special permission to visit the prisons, and Miklo is left in charge. Montana is granted special request to have his daughter visit him at one of the prisons. Before she arrives, he is stabbed to death by a member of the BGA. Leaving the Aryan Vanguard sent forced orders to the hitman. Paco arranges a peace conference between La Onda and BGA, but Miklo uses the talks to build an alliance with BGA and the joint killing of Aryan Vanguard leaders. After the Aryans are killed, Miklo's men promptly double-cross and murder the BGA leaders as well. A furious Paco confronts Miklo, disowning him forever. The warden vows to split La Onda's ruling council by sending them to prisons in other states. Miklo uses this to expand La Onda across the southwest. It is later revealed that Magic, not the Aryan Vanguard, sent the forced orders to have BGA kill Montana at Miklo's behest. As Miklo destroys the evidence of their betrayal, Magic swears his life to Miklo as his jefe. Back in East Los Angeles, Paco visits one of Cruz's murals showing the portrait of his former life. In a pep talk with Cruz, Paco realizes that by ordering Miklo to go after Spider, Paco is responsible for what Miklo has become. He ultimately forgives Miklo as well as himself. But what you missed, the warden vows to split La Onda's ruling council by sending them to prisons in other states. And guess what state they went to? Texas, Arizona. Yep, all through the Southwest. That's how the prison gangs came from California to Texas. This is the story. This is somebody's story. As you can see, the actors in here: Damian Chapa, Jesse Borrego, Benjamin Bratt, Enrico Castillo, Delroy Lindo, Billy Bob Thornton, Danny Trejo, Bing Rames, Richard Masur. Y'all know who he is when you see him. There he is. Rhoda. Yeah, that's what I remember. As a showing my age. There you go. All right. Blood in, blood out, bound by honor. It's a really good movie, and it breaks everything down for you, and it's damn realistic. They even show Sam Quentin, and you actually kind of see what it really looks like to work in the food service department in a prison. That's where I stole that from. And oh, gangs in the United States. It's from Wikipedia. So again, we take everything with a grain of salt from Wikipedia, but it's just easy to use. Approximately 1.4 million people in the United States were part of gangs in 2011. Well, you can probably tack on another million to that. Okay. As of 2024. And more than 33,000 gangs were active in the country. These include national street gangs, local street gangs, prison gangs, outlaw motorcycle clubs, and ethnic and organized crime gangs. Many American gangs began and still exist in urban areas. In many cases, national street gangs originated in major cities such as New York City, Chicago, but they later grew in other American cities like Albuquerque and Washington, D.C. We can go through the history of them. And this is where I was telling you, this was a big time, contemporary 1990s. Of course, you had the Bloods and the Crips. And y'all can go read all this you want. But here's the gangs. Here's some of the things. Gangs are known to engage in traditionally gang-related gambling, drug trafficking, arms trafficking, white-collar crimes such as counterfeiting, identity theft, fraud, and non-traditional activity of human trafficking and prostitution. Okay. We know they're doing, they're pickpocketing, they're jacking people on, purses, they're jacking people at ATMs. Some of these places, they're, the regular residents, they won't even go out at any time of day. So some of the notable American prison gangs, the Aryan Brotherhood, the ABs, I know a ton of them. In my opinion, in my opinion, most of the white gangs in prison, all they do is sit around, play grab ass, call each other bitches and hoes and dick suckers and all this shit, totally disrespecting each other in front of the whole day room, all day, all night, just acting like stupid, silly fools. Absolutely. And I used to laugh at them. Like, you are just the stupidest motherfuckers I think I've ever met. Y'all are idiots. I can't believe y'all sit over there and do that to each other all day long, and then want to walk around the rest of the unit demanding respect. Are you kidding me? You just got called a cocksucker by your fucking celly, and you didn't say nothing. You didn't slap the taste out of his mouth. Absolutely. So, I am hardcore, folks. All right, organized crime gangs. You got the Sinaloa cartel, you got the American Mafia, the Latin Kings, Jewish Mafia, the Triad Society, the Russian Mafia, Yakuza, Sicilian Mafia, and the Irish Mob. Now, you don't think that they're sending people over here to work? I got some low earners, man. They just not making it over here in the streets of London. Maybe I need to send them to America. Yeah, that's what that looks like. Juvenile gangs, goes all into it. Demographics, African American gangs. Let's see what they got in here. Yeah, they don't even label those, but you got the gangster disciples, but that's a multi-ethnic. Um, got the black gorillas. Oh God, I don't remember all of them. Of course, the Bloods and the Crips. And then you got all these little splinter groups. Hispanic gangs, Mexican, Central American, and Caribbean. All right. You got the 18th Street Gang from California. You got the Mexican Mafia, La M, MS-13. You got the Dominican Gang, the Trinitarios. Okay. If they're not making any money, guess where they're coming, folks? Because the door's wide open. Come on. We're going to give you a debit card. We're going to hook you up. We're going to put you up in a hotel. We're going to make sure you have health care. If you want to become a man or you want to become a woman or you want to become a hermaphrodite, hey, we'll fly you to California and California will take care of that for you. Yeah. And then you can be like Ball, Baal, Ball. As we continue, other ethnic gangs, we have the Asian gangs. And Asians have been around for, centuries. They've got their shit together. I don't know if y'all ever watched the video I did. It was a replay, a mirror of a Vice video of what all these crypto scams are. Okay. And those are mainly the Asian gangs that are running those crypto scams from Asia. And when Asia started cracking down due to the United States cracking down on Asia, they diversified and they go out to these other countries where there are no laws. What does that sound like? Fuck, that sounds like the United States, cities and states and counties. There's virtually no laws. We are not going to be held accountable for anything we do, and we go get arrested, go to jail, get right back out, and go reoffend and go back to our five-star hotel. Right? This is what's going on. And what just blows my mind is, down here, because we're so accustomed to it. and acclimated to it that, another illegal alien is, like looking at another yard guy, some other dude with a weed eater or some other dude, with a hammer or a saw. Yeah. They're everywhere. But up there, y'all got a different story. Female gangs. So here's some of the gangs: 18th Street, Almighty Vice Lord Nation. Never heard of them. Aryan Brotherhood, ABs. Yeah. Asian Boys. No. Banditos. Yes. No. A bunch of those. Barrio Azteca. Black Disciples. Yes. Bloods. Yes. Crips. Yes. Gangster Disciples. Yes. Hells Angels. Yes. King Cobra Boys, no. Ku Klux Klan, yes. LKs, yes. Mexican Mafia, yes. That's another story I'll tell you about. MS-13, yes. Nortinos, Chorinos, Tap Boys, Tiny Rascal Gang, Vagos, Motorcycle Gang, White Power Skinheads. No, I've heard of you. All right, so let me get you back into a little bit more of the Mexican Mafia story. So, once upon a time, I was sitting in jail. I know you never ever think that about me, right? That I would be sitting in jail somewhere. Well, I'm sitting in jail in Comal County, which is New Braunfels. Okay, we're going down the Guadalupe River. I get picked up because I have a blue warrant, which I later got rescinded. I got out after spending the entire summer from Memorial Day to almost Labor Day in Comal County Jail. But while I was in Comal County Jail and giving them the blues, as you can imagine, which I like to do, try to leave my mark everywhere I go. Um, I'm in Comal County. Okay. Everybody I know is in Houston. So everything I do is a long distance call. It's not, I'm not calling local in New Braunfels. So everything's long distance because it was long distance back then. This is 19, probably 93, 94-ish, 92-ish, 92, 93, 94, around there, somewhere there. Because my dad was still alive, I remember. Um, so every time I had to make a phone call, it was long distance. And I had just moved in a brand new apartment, and you know, I had a blue warrant, so I had no bond, so I couldn't get out. And I was partners with a guy. We were running a telemarketing company, and he moved these stupid ass telemarketers in my apartment for me. So basically, what I would do is I would call my house, they would answer my phone, and then I'd have them three-way somebody. So I'd sit there just wah 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 wah. I'm just blowing up my phone. I'm not even worried about paying the bill. I'll deal with that when I get out. Uh, and I'm always on the phone because I don't know anybody there, and I really don't want to know anybody there. I'm trying to get the hell out of there, go back home. Uh, so I move in this old Mexican guy next to me, and I don't get in anybody's business. I already know better than that. But he's on the phone as much as I am. And I know how much that costs to be on the phone as much as I was. I'm like, damn, this dude's dropping some coin, some serious coin. So every time, we go to commissary, man, this dude's maxing out. He's buying everybody ice cream on the block. Damn, what's up with this dude? So in Comal County Jail, you can have here's my age again, a Sony Walkman cassette player and headphones sent in and 5 cassettes. And you could exchange the cassettes if you had another visitor, but you could only maximally have 5. So one day, one of these deputies come in and they got a big cardboard box full of cassettes. And I'm in the first cell, so they go by my cell and they take it in his cell. drop. I can hear him, talking to him, giving me. I'm like, man, who is this dude? What kind of hookups he got to get all those cassettes, man? Dude, we're gonna rock out, man. I hope he's got some good music. So the deputy leaves. I, go around the car. So, hey, man, who the hell did you talk to get all those cassettes in here? He goes, oh, no, no, no. Those are my wiretaps. I go, what? He goes, my wiretaps. All those? He goes, yeah. I go, are you gonna listen to them? He's like, yeah, I gotta listen to every one of them. I go, you're freaking kidding me. I go, there's fucking probably three or 400 cassettes in there. He goes, I know, I'm gonna be here for a long time. Huh? I'm like, oh my God. I go, what did you do? And this dude whips out his indictment and it's like 21 freaking pages. I'm like, whoa, okay, what the hell is this? And he starts telling me his story. He was the vice president of the Mexican Mafia in Texas. And they led a coup to overthrow the president. And they executed the president and buried him in the backyard. Square business. He was telling me he was driving, on one of these stretches of West Texas highway, doing a gazillion miles an hour, got pulled over by the DPS. And they, what did they do? They found the cocaine, took the cocaine, and let him go. Some stupid, crazy, idiotic stuff like that. Um, he had the old um, briefcases that had the phone had set up where you could take the old phones and set them on there, and it would uh, see if your phone was being tapped. And he was telling me about, he had one of those, and he goes, yeah, every time I get on the phone, to say my phone was being tapped. And I was like, well, you didn't listen to it? And he's like, no, I thought, bro, I was like, well, gee, yeah, well, boy, I got you dead to the right. But this was such a high profile case at the time, and I really didn't know about it, that they had split up all the defendants and they had them in different county jails all around Bexar County, because Bexar County is where the trial was. That's San Antonio. That's where the trial was. And they would, when they brought them in, they would have the whole courthouse surrounded. They had the whole interior, extra personnel, security personnel, due to the nature of the crime. And I'm reading this indictment, and it's, fully automatic weapons, aggravated kidnapping, aggravated robbery, murder, conspiracy to do this, money laundering, every freaking drug under the sun. I mean, I'm just like, oh my God, dude, you're like, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much time he eventually got. I got out, but those are the kind of people that I associated with. And once we broke broke that ice, we were having conversations all the time, because he knew that, because I'm on the phone all the time. He knows how much it costs to be on the phone all the time, so he knows I got money. So we got that respect. Plus, I've already been to prison, so I know how to handle myself, as opposed to all these other knuckleheads running around here, screaming and jumping all around and trying to get the hell out of jail. So we could actually have conversations. And yeah, he broke it all down to me. So when I tell you what gangs are capable of, they'll do anything and everything. There's nothing that they won't do. Some of them, they have nothing, zero. They have nothing to lose, absolutely nothing. Most people couldn't understand, why some of the blacks, melanated folks here in Houston, why they go on these crime sprees, why they're criminals, because they don't have anything. They don't have an education. They don't have a future. I'll tell you the story of my buddy Johnny Windsor, who's from, he's passed away now, but he was from Wichita Falls, Texas. and he was older than me, probably about 15 years older than me. And we worked in the showers together. And he's like, Floyd, man, you wouldn't believe it when we were so poor, while I was growing up. Whoever woke up first and got to the cereal bowl got to eat breakfast first. And everybody else had to wait until they finished with the cereal bowl because we only had one bowl. One bowl. A bowl. That's where these folks come from. You have to remember some of them, little shotgun shacks from the 20s and 30s on cinder blocks with air conditioning units. And there's like, 12 people in there living. It's only like a two, three bed, maybe a three-bedroom, one bathroom, all those people. Yeah. They'll do anything to get out there. So that's what they're doing. And crime is, the easiest and smoothest avenue for them to take. Part of that's gangs. Now they're deliberately sending gang members. They're emptying their prisons. Man, wouldn't Texas like to empty their prisons on the world? That's what's happening. Let me explain something to you, folks. There's not a third world country on planet Earth, not one, that has an open border policy. Not one. So, what does that make the United States of America? We're not no first tier country. We're definitely not a third world country because we have an open border. So, that makes us less than a third world country. Welcome to the United States of America under the Joseph Biden, Robinette Biden administration. Thank you very much for that. So, if you're a Democrat and you're going to continue to vote for the Biden administration, you're a fucking moron. I'm telling you now, this is what you're doing to your country, our country. You're destroying it by allowing this idiot in the freaking Oval Office and all his little minions to continue to lie to you. Everybody in Congress lied to you, your senators, your representatives. All of them are lying to you. They have to. All you got to do is go listen to the Carrie Lake recording that she did with the leader of the GOP. Yes, that happens all the fucking time, folks. It happened here in Houston, Texas. Sheila Jackson Lee. I think she's over the 118th congressional district, which just happens to be mine. So I was like, I'm kind of tired of her. Let's see if we can get somebody else in there. Who ran against her last time? I'm going to show you. I don't remember Harmon's last name. Huh? Oh, mm, Hmm. Oh, that's the state. Her name. Remember her first name. Okay. I'll find it in a minute. Mm, yeah, Carmen Montiel. Sorry. Like it. Where's Carmen? Come on. Here we go. Sorry about that. All right. This is Carmen. This is who ran against Sheila Jackson Lee in 2022. She ran as a Republican under the MAGA banner. Okay. So I was like, wow, man, she's pretty. Who is she? Okay. So if you go here, personal website, this is Carmen. And she actually has some hygiene products. All right. I have almost 40 years of experience in television and as a beauty expert. I'm a journalist who has worked in news, several TV shows, master of ceremonies, auctioneer, and speaker. My experience in beauty pageants allowed me to maintain a discipline that has allowed me to keep my looks as if it was only yesterday that I almost grasped the U.S. Miss Universe crown. So, what she didn't say in that sentence is she is the 1984 Miss Venezuela, as well as the 1985 Miss Universe runner up. And what happened to Carmen? Okay. Kevin McCarthy, then Speaker of the House and the House Majority Leader for the U.S. Congress, came to Houston, Texas, pulled all funding for every MAGA candidate, and they supported, which means the Republican Party, Kevin McCarthy, supported Sheila Jackson Lee. Absolutely. That's politics. That's why I tell y'all it's corrupt. This is deliberate. And unless You guys want to get excited about it and make change? The only way you're going to make change is doing what they're doing in these other countries where they get out on the streets and protest and make their voices heard. The only way things are going to change. And these gangs are coming to your town. They're going to kill your children. They're going to kill your family members. They're going to kill your friends. Absolutely. It's coming. It's going to happen. We've experienced it again in slow motion here in the South. You guys are going to get it overnight. It's going to be like an ice storm came and everything froze. You're like, oh shit. Damn, that got here quick. And it's there. And it's supported by your local, state, and federal government. Okay. Just like who was it talking about it today? They were talking about how disingenuous Greg Abbott is. And of course, you all who have been following me obviously know I've been yelling this from the mountaintops for shit, at least a year. All this extra surplus budget money y'all had in the legislative session, Greg Abbott, why didn't you go hire an army to go down and defend the border then? Why did you wait till now? If there wasn't an agenda, because you could have done now over a year ago, 2 years ago. So, personally, my own opinion, Greg Abbott is not a genuine man. He's a politician. He's been a politician his entire life. He's an attorney. He's a trained, educated, licensed attorney. He was the Chief Justice of the Texas Supreme Court before he decided he wanted to be the Texas Attorney General, before he decided he wanted to be the Texas governor. Are you seeing a pattern? Gang members are coming, folks, and it's not going to be pretty when they hit your neighborhood. And they're already there, and more are coming, and more are coming, more organized. So get ready, because they don't need a gun permit. They're going to go take whatever they want. Okay. They know they will learn just like they've been learning. Okay. I have this straight from people in Arkansas. They know, the criminals know to go to buildings, okay, where they don't allow firearms in the building, and they go break into those cars because they know those cars possess firearms because the owners could not take them into the facility. Hmm. Yeah. Doesn't it make sense? That's where the guns are. Let's go there. They're not stupid. They learn quick. They communicate. Now all they need is a cell phone, and they can pick the one of those up for dime a dozen from the United States government or New York. Here's your debit card. Go get your phone. That's your America. I encourage everybody not only go vote in November. Why don't you go run for something? Why don't you become an elected politician? Why don't you go speak for us? Give us a voice. Because I'm seriously thinking about running against Sheila Jackson Lee for this congressional district if I still stay in this district. I hate Houston. It's a cesspool. I can't even imagine what New York looks like, or Los Angeles, or Oregon, Portland, Oregon, or San Francisco. This used to be one of the greatest cities in the world, Houston. 24-hour fun. Now it's garbage. Too many people, too many people that don't know how to drive. There's traffic everywhere you go. Most of these stupid idiots don't have insurance because they're illegal. Yeah, wait till y'all that happens to you. Wait till you get rear-ended by an illegal that doesn't have insurance twice, like I have. Yeah, you just get tired of it. and they just let them in. There's a line wrapped around the DPS, illegal aliens. Hey, come on in. Yeah, sign the documents so we can create the trust, so we can monetize you. Greg Abbott. Yeah, that's what's going on. Gangs, get ready. We're fixing to get a whole new influx. You're going to see a whole bunch of ODs. They don't care. Nobody hold them accountable. Nobody's going to put them in prison. Nobody's going to try them and convict them. Nobody's going to deport them. I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you my own experiences and give you my advice. It's 5:55.